What is the good word, everybody? This is your man's the one, and I am back here for something new with the state of basketball. I am starting my new Under the Backboard interview series where I will interview various people from across the state of Indiana who are legends at the game of basketball here in our state. And tonight we got a really good way to start off our interview series for this upcoming season. And before we get to that, we want to acknowledge a couple of important people who bring us to you. First off, we're going to start with our good friend Shawn Nugent over at Rockstar Realtyy. If you want to buy or sell a new home, make sure you get in touch with this guy. He'll make sure he'll get you the best deal and get you the best deal. All right. And then if you are looking to shape that body up in an elite type of way, make sure you get in touch with our guys over there at Elite Performance, and they will shape your body up in the way that you want to get ready for spring break. And yes, old people do take spring breaks. And last, we are going to acknowledge our good friends over at Ayers Academy Sports Vision Training. This is an awesome new thing that's getting started, and a lot of young athletes are involved in it. So make sure you get in touch with them, and you can have this special edge. So tonight we have, for your viewing pleasure, and viewing pleasure, that might have been a little rough. I'm not sure. But anyway, but for your listening pleasure, we have a great person here who is a legend across our state. Very few people get these type of honors that she has cooked up. And you know that we here at BW Sports and the state of basketball love women's basketball, not because we both have daughters. It's because we actually like the game of basketball, and the women play it just as good as the men. And who better to give us a great start and to talk about the women's side of the basketball than the 2010 Indiana Miss Basketball. Hey, what's going on, Courtney? How's it going?
Hey, what's up, V1? Thanks for having me on the podcast today.
Oh, man. No, thanks for coming on, man. This is a great honor for me being from Indiana, and I do follow both sides of the game, the men's and the women. And I do know a little bit about you, and it's cool to be able to talk to you. And I've actually seen you do your training thing too, so this is pretty awesome.
Yeah, down there at Ivy Tech, just after this last Christmas time. I think it was like December 27th or so. So you were doing the live stream of the camp that Natalie Morse was putting on with the USA girls basketball. So that was our first encounter. So it's a pleasure to be on here.
Yeah, that was extreme amounts of fun. I know it was one of our first things that we have done for the multi-stream thing again, but it was awesome. And it's also for us to be able to link up with Natalie and some of the contacts that she's got, because this movement that she's doing with all girls basketball is absolutely outstanding. You know, you were involved in it, and it was the coolest thing that I thought about it, that we were the only males that were really involved with it. Okay, maybe the ref and Matt Shade, he's always somewhere around. But we were the only ones there, and it was all girls, trained by all girls, put on by all girls. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll be honest. In the middle of that, I got a phone call and it kicked off. So what was the question?
Yeah, so I said one of the cool things about it was a camp that was put on for all girls, ran by all girls, supplied by all girls. And me being one of the only guys that was involved in it, I thought it was pretty awesome what you guys did there.
Yeah, growing up, I got my phone off. It just popped up my computer there. It's kicked me off. Sorry about that. But yeah, growing up, I mean, there was nothing of that caliber available when I was growing up to go do that. And I'm 28, so I graduated high school in 2010. So in the early 2000s, late 90s, there was nothing like that. So what is going on with girls basketball in Indiana is super exciting. And on my side, I'm really excited to be at the point where I'm able to pour back into the upcoming generation and just keep this excitement for the women's game that's going on. I'm super excited.
That is awesome. I mean, I love it, me personally. Let's go back into time a little bit. All right. In 2010, you were named Miss Basketball, meaning that you were voted the best player in the state of Indiana. How did it feel when they said you were number one?
Really, the getting a big award like that is awesome, but we're as an athlete and as a competitor, where my mind goes to is that driveway, and maybe it was wintertime, I was shoveling snow off, or it goes to the hours put into a quiet gym, and it goes to back to the process, not that moment of getting the award. Because what a lot of people, they see that you receive this award, but they don't know the amount of time and effort and energy, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, that goes into receiving something like that. So to get that award was an honor, because now, I mean, being 11 years out of it, that title is always going to be there. But it's my aim now to teach girls, all right, like, that's cool, but this is what you got to do to be able to put yourself in a position to maybe get that if you have the right skill set.
Speaking of that, so it looks like what you've done after you left, after you graduated high school, won Miss Basketball, you went to Purdue and you played there for a while. After Purdue, did you go overseas or touch the WNBA a little bit?
I entered into the 2014 WNBA draft, went undrafted, and then I had contract opportunities to play professional basketball overseas, but ultimately decided going overseas wasn't really something that I was chasing after and desiring, and so I stayed in the States and pursued different coaching opportunities and different basketball opportunities, which led to, I think, the question you're going to ask next is asking about our training academy.
Yes, well, you're good at this. So yes, I'm going to walk right into the Compete Training Academy. Am I doing that correctly there?
Yes. Yep. Compete Training Academy. Also, a lot of people will call it CTA for short. And it's not a lot of people, if you Google CTA, Chicago Transit Association comes up. So we ain't the Chicago Transportation.
Oh, I'm sure those conversations are absolutely grand at times. But so you guys are located in Marion, and it's you and your husband, correct?
Yeah, my husband, Jordan, and I, we've been married for 6 years. We got 2 kids under 4, so he was going to be on the podcast with me today. We'll have to get him on here and do a dynamic duo, but he's on kid duty right now so that we can talk. So, but yeah, Jordan and my husband and I, we both run this business together.
But y'all are brave, mine are spaced out. I got 7 years in between all of them, but 2 under 4, that is brave, and I commend you.
Hey, we get a daily workout just keeping up with them. That'll keep the calories off just chasing your kids around.
Yeah, but that's an interesting dynamic, though. It's rare that people find someone that they pair up well, that they can work with and spend themselves together with. You know what I mean? I mean, y'all have a common goal, and it looks like you have a lot. You obviously, you guys' relationship, but your common goal in basketball and your love of training younger players. Why don't you speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, so Jordan and I, Jordan grew up in Rossville, Indiana, which is a little town kind of east of Lafayette, and I grew up in Sweetser, Indiana, and we never met until it was my sophomore year, his senior year at Purdue University. We met at Fellowship Christian Athletes, and we had some classes together. Obviously, I was playing on the women's team, and then he was a senior student manager on the men's team under Coach Painter, so we'd run into each other at the basement of Mackey, and we kept seeing each other around campus. But something that's cool, so we met then. When we were in junior high, we just had a place on our hearts, and we have journals we can go back and look at of having a barn in the country with a basketball court in it that we were doing basketball training out of. And so that was instilled in our hearts years before we even met each other. So it's cool just to see God's plan of us weaving us together. And we're excited. We have a meeting tonight together, a little business meeting in the house, and just talking about, where is CTA going? What are we doing? And getting ready for an exciting spring, summer, fall off season of basketball in Indiana.
That is awesome. So I was looking at some of the pictures on the Facebook page and some of the videos. So you guys got some pretty nice collegiate, ex-collegiate talent coming in and doing helping with some of the training.
Yeah, so we've been linking up. Jordan has Raphael Davis. Him and them two have been doing some basketball schools together. And then Spike Albrecht, who he was on the national championship team there at Michigan, and he also spent a 5th year at Purdue. He's coming in to do a point guard school, and then coming up was going to be announced. I'm going to be doing some shooting clinics and shooting schools, and we'll be bringing in some other coaches and players who are in their seasons right now, or they're overseas currently. And then when they get back, we're going to be linking up. So we have some really exciting opportunities. And the cool thing is, like, growing up, if you're going to go to a camp, you're spending like a whole week there. You're spending, a whole weekend. And so we really are adapting this model of a clinic where you come for 2 to 3 hours, and we are giving the players a ton of content, a ton of teaching. It's hands-on and teaching them exactly what they need to know. And it's not taking up a whole week or a whole weekend, because we know that families are busy. We're a family, and we're very family-friendly, business operation. And we are going to get straight to the point. We're not going to mess around, and we're going to get after it with you.
That is awesome, man. I love the sound of that. Now, question, is it all girls, or is it girls and boys? He does the boys side and you do the girl side?
Yeah, so the clinic's coming up with Ray and with Spike are going to be for the boys, and then I'm going to be doing clinics that are for the girls. And that's kind of the cool thing about Jordan and I, husband and wife duo, that he can really connect with guys. I can really connect with girls. But at the same time, we also do, coming up in the spring and summer, do some combined. Jordan and I will lead like some shooting clinics and shooting camps where we do combine together, and we bring in boys and girls.
That is great, man. I love to hear it. And you never know, I might be able to coax my daughter to slide way up here in Marion to come to some of those camps. She's pretty focused. It's hard to get her away from whatever it is that she's doing.
Yeah, we'd be happy to have her. And it's not that you don't even got to really get on the interstate. You can hop on 37 and no traffic. Just might get stopped by a tractor on your way up here. That's the only thing.
I would say that is absolutely true, because I have been up there in that general area. We won't speak of why I was up there, but I've been up there, and yeah, it's an interesting journey. So, have you been keeping up with any of the current state, the Indiana State tournament that's going on right now for the girls? And who are you looking for to, let's just say, who is your Final Four for the NCAA?
All right. So, yeah, I've watched two of the tournament games, and there was both of the Noblesville games. So we watched the regional game when they played against Homestead at Marion. And if they won that game, I was going to go to the championship game in person, but I wasn't able to. And then watched the sectional championship game between Carmel and Noblesville. So those were the two games that we watched at our house. So, and then Final Four NCAA, man, it depends when they come out with the brackets though on who's where. But I would say you got to go the West Coast schools have been showing out in the Final Fours lately. So I'm going to throw in Oregon just because I feel like they've showed out and made it, and it's becoming in this day and age, they're becoming like a Tennessee or a UConn was when I was growing up. And I'm going to throw UConn in there because I think Gino just gets it done. And the fourth one, man, I'm going to go with – who would you go with the four? I'm going to throw the question back to you. So we got UConn, Notre Dame, Oregon. Who's your fourth?
Well, I don't know how you got Notre Dame in there, but I will let you have it. But I would have to say I would want to say South Carolina, but I got a sneaky feel of UNC State, North Carolina State.
NC State, okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm kind of questioning this Notre Dame one.
Hey, Coach Ivy, I feel like Coach Ivy's going to get it done.
Well, she's got to pull one out, but hey, she's got talent, so I can see that one. And with your state games, so you did watch my daughter play. She plays for Carmel. She was the big girl, 33.
Yes. Okay.
That was Carmel. Yeah, that was my daughter.
Make the connection now. I'm seeing the last. I'm making the connection now. I like her.
Yes, she's
like
up there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Ashlyn is wow, and she's been wow since the 4th grade. And so, I'm expecting her to be Miss Basketball. They have that honor that you had. She should get it for 2023. I don't see. There's some good girls in that class, but I don't see anybody who is going to outwork her for that.
Yeah, I have a good Ashlyn Shade story. So the first time I ever met Ashlyn, and I actually trained her. So my husband was working at Indiana Wesleyan University. Her dad, Matt, played basketball there, so he's an alumni. So my husband's job was to connect. He was an employee relations coordinator. He was connecting with business owners to see if IWU students could get a job or intern. So he was linking up, talking with Matt about fit living at the time. And so Matt came up and Jordan was an assistant coach for the IWU men or Greg Tongo at the time. And he came up and we did like a tour with the basketball team. And he said, hey, what if I'm going to bring my daughter up? And I was doing my training. Do you think that Courtney would want to train her? And I think she was in elementary school. So she came up, Jordan and Matt were doing their thing with the men's team. And Ashlyn and I were literally outside on the sidewalks of Indiana Wesleyan University. I had 2 basketballs I brought with me, and I put her through really high-level 2-ball drills. And, I mean, she went so hard. She was dripping sweat. And I remember telling Jordan after, I said, this girl is going to be special. I said, she just worked harder than anybody I've ever seen just in ball handling. I said, we didn't even get to the court and shoot. And I said, she's going to be special. And then a few years later, we did a 3-on-3 tournament in our barn. And she came up and was in the tournament. And so it was girls and boys were combined. And her team won the whole thing. They beat the boys. I'll never forget, those boys were so embarrassed that they got beat by a bunch of chicks. But they could just straight out, ball out. And Ashlyn, just her athleticism, and just the thing that sets her, like I said, of sweating so much is doing ball handling as an elementary player. And she has this it factor that you either got it or you don't, and she has it. And that's what's going to take her. And I think she would be my vote for Miss Basketball in that class too.
I've heard about this barn. I've actually heard about this barn. So what's up with the barn?
Yeah, the barn. So 2017. So we've been dreaming about this barn. We had no idea. We were actually talking to a couple people about building. We lived out in South Marion by the college. We had an empty lot. We were talking about building from scratch, pool barn and doing training. And because every trainer's battle is finding a spot to train out of. Then this family from our church sold us their farmstead that had been their family for over 100 years. They had 3 boys who thought like one of the boys were going to get it, and none of them wanted it. And so Jordan and I why did they not want it? And it turns out that they live like one of those big neighborhoods down from IKEA. They live on this golf course in like these $1 million houses. So, but the barn and the farmhouse is our $1 million property to us, even though it didn't cost that much. So the barn used to be a dairy operation. It was a number 1 dairy operation back in the 1970s in Grant County, Indiana. And so we came in, there was straw, there was hay up in the hay mounds. it wasn't concrete poured yet. It was just a dirt floor, and walked in, and it's an old peg, 40-foot tall peg barn, and has a big rafters. And I remember looking up, and I told Jordan, I was like, you can shoot a basketball in here. I was like, this is it. And there's a little like lean-to kind of off to the side that's connected to the barn. So where they used to milk the cows at. So we actually put a weight room in there. So we're a one-stop shop for a basketball player. And that's where we call that the hard work room, because, you know, people, they didn't have the machines. Like, there's so many people that are like in their 70s that live around us. They're like, I milked cows in that barn. We're like, yeah, you come out and play pig or play cow against us now. So that is the barn, and it started in 2017. We put our life savings into it, and we do clinics, training, retreats. We do all kinds of stuff out of this barn, and we're excited. It's not heated, so whenever it gets warm out is when we get back into it. So we're anxiously waiting to get back in the barn for this year.
I completely understand getting back to work and you can't do nothing. That was one of the key statements that you made in that was the biggest issue that trainers have is finding a place to train. I mean, these gyms, some of these gyms are outrageous. I mean, I get it. There's a liability factor and, you know, you got bills to pay, but I mean, $80 an hour. I mean, I only got 3 kids. Are you kidding me? So you want me to charge them what, $150 an hour? So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Hey, the last thing I got for you before I let you go is a big topic right now. You know what I mean, when it comes to the diverse, well, not the diversity, but the split share, so to speak, of how the men are treated and the women are treated when it comes to sports and life as well. But, you know, I guess we try to just dwell on the sports side of it, you know, with the quality of the game for the women that has exploded over the last, I'd say 10 years, 10 or so, let's go 15 years or so. You know what I mean? I remember the game back in my day, you had about maybe 3 or 4 good girls, and then it was just a soccer scrum all over the court. You know what I mean? Then as the exposure touched more, it grew more, but the game now is so skilled. The only difference is they're not dunking. Well, the majority of them aren't dunking. But other than that, the game is just as skilled. What do you think needs to happen for this great game that the girls play to get a little more global? Not so much makeup global that they have now, where they say they put your games on, but it's at times and channels that nobody watches. So how do you feel that what needs to happen for you to get a closer equal part of this share game?
Yeah, and I think that what my answer is going to lead to is something that we've been seeing here recently. And we're a faith-based business and family. And so this is kind of a biblical concept that we are supposed to speak up for those who can't speak up for themselves. And what we've seen here is there's a lot of NBA players that are rallying behind the girls' game. And we know that you can sit on the bench and be a guy that's a 9th player on the bench, and you're probably making almost more money than the top players in the WNBA, which is absurd, but it's just the way it is right now. So the stud players in the NBA, the coaches in the NBA ranks, the presidents, the people who have a voice have to start speaking up, as they've been doing, and continue to speak up for the women's game, because everybody's eyes are on them, and people are going to listen to what they're saying. And so I know like they came out with the orange WNBA sweatshirts was a big thing. And so you saw a lot of NBA guys repping those, taking pictures and just promoting the women's game. And I think that there's so many, I think of just locally, Tamika Catchings being the president down the Fever, and just the way that she is helping move the game along and is opening up doors that she didn't even have. And that's a leader, is being selfless and helping other people along to leave a legacy. So yeah, so the way I would answer that is that people just who have power position have to keep speaking up for the game and bringing that attention to the game.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today to talk a little bit about basketball, a little bit about yourself, what you got going on, and I hope that this invitation extends further. If you ever want to come back and chat with us some more, you're more than welcome. But won't you give your shots out, tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they're in your area and if they want to bring their daughters to you or their sons to your husband.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested, you can go to competebasketballtraining.com. When you get on there, there's a form that you can fill out that'll get you right into contact with us. You can have on there exactly what you're interested in, and then we'll follow up with you, and we'll give you, the best options that we have for your son or daughter. And yeah, I want to keep growing the game of girls basketball. So any of you guys that have daughters who are aspiring to play at that next level, even if whatever their goal is. If I have girls that came to me that just wanted to start JV, and I'm going to work with whoever has a drive, whoever wants to get better, come work with us, and we're going to help you succeed not only in basketball but in life.
That's great. I mean, I think that the game needs more women like you, more role models like you that come from the area that they come from, as somebody that they see comes from where they come from, that have made it to these different levels of things and of success. And so I think it'll be great for them. And I wish you all the greatest. So we've gotten to that. We've talked about that. Let's see. We've gotten your Final Four. We've introduced you to the world. I'm sure that we can come up with some more things to do so, but I'm going to let you go. Thanks for joining us. And I think that's it.
Sounds good. Thanks. And next time that get me on, we'll get Jordan, and we'll do a little double. We'll do a date together. So we'll get a babysitter, and me and him can be. This will be our date. We'll come sit down and hang out with you and talk. How about that?
I'm grateful for that one. Hopefully, when the COVID thing is all over with, we might even be able to link up in person.
Perfect.
All righty. So hold on after I hit stop, chat for you for a minute. But thanks for joining us, everybody. Courtney Delks, the Black and White Sports One World. Awesome. I did hit the button. I did.